first talk to me about sort of the upheaval that WeWork has caused to the industry.
Thanks for having me. Maybe let me start just to define quickly what Industrious does to help give context to that. So we're the largest premium workplace provider in the country. We have about 100 locations across 50 cities. And within our sector, we're kind of known for three things. So we have the best unit economics in the industry, the highest customer satisfaction scores. And as a result of that, we're the first company in our sector to move from signing kind of risky arm's length leases with landlords to doing partnership or management agreements with landlords. And as a result of that, are now on the eve, probably next month or the month after, of being cash flow positive at the parent level, which is certainly different than what you see in the rest of the industry. The upheaval, go ahead.
Yeah, talk to me, give me more about your business model. You talked about those management agreements and how you differentiate yourself. So what's your business model?
So what we do is we go to landlords and we partner together to create a workplace, a sort of shared workplace complex at their building level, and then use that to positively influence the performance of the whole building. When you partner with a Blackstone or a Brookfield, it's just the quality of workplace experience you can deliver is much different than when you just sign a lease with a landlord and sort of aren't able to coordinate with them in the delivery of the workplace experience, and it's a much riskier business, which we're seeing now.
You talked about sort of being able to ride WeWork's coattails on the way up. It sort of was the leader, if you will, in the co-sharing workplace environment. Now that WeWork has faced some struggles, how are you hoping to also stay in the game and differentiate yourself?
I think what we see is that most companies are sort of transitioning from the experimental phase of our industry to the more programmatic rollout phase. Most companies said, I'm curious to try having a third party deliver my employees' workplace experience as a service or a product. And most companies measured how it went. So they said, how engaged are my employees? How happy are my employees? What's my employee attrition rate when a provider like Industrious does this for me versus when I do it myself? And the reality is most Fortune 500, most big Silicon Valley businesses in the last year have come to the conclusion that they got as good, if not a better outcome, and they're all starting to double down their utilization of workplace as a service. So these WeWork struggles come at a kind of odd moment because you see the industry growing incredibly quickly, but the largest provider in the industry, for reasons sort of unique to their own management style and some of the strategic decisions they've made, are having to pull back on growth. That's providing a very interesting moment, because if you look at a Seattle or a Dallas and there's 400,000 new seats of demand coming online, WeWork is going to put 250,000 of those seats online, and now they're going to add 0 new seats. It's not clear what's going to happen, but obviously for providers like us, it's an interesting moment and an exciting opportunity.
The biggest complaint from the street is this is an industry that has not been tested in the case of a recession or a downturn. How are you protecting your downside risk?
So I think there are some good arguments to be made the industry will actually perform very well in a recession in terms of companies using that as the opportunity to move more forcefully into outsourcing their workplace needs. But the reality is, what we always assume is that this industry will perform like hotels or airlines or, in fact, workplace operators of yesteryear in a recession, which means about a 9 to 15% revenue decline. And the key is to build a business with margins. Industrious's margins are north of 30% at the unit level that could withstand that kind of revenue hit. And the problem is, of course, providers that haven't focused on profitability, haven't focused on building those healthy, sort of sustainable margins, because then a 12, 13, 14% revenue decline could be a problem.
So what are your updated numbers on being free cash flow positive and profitable?
Our updated numbers on that, so we're about a month or two away from that. The way that this has worked is our company has grown revenue at about 120% a year. Every year, 5 years in a row, we're going to grow revenue at probably 120% next year, but we've been disciplined in our overhead growth, and I think you don't always see that in these highly funded Silicon Valley businesses, but for us, we've made it a commitment to grow overhead at 55, 60% a year, and if you just think about how that works, if you're going to grow revenue at 120% and your overhead at 60, you are going to become a profitable business pretty quickly, and once you are profitable, it goes very quickly from there, and that's what I think the next year or two has in store for us.